Alrighty-o. Now we're going to get into some real drawing. So we're going to draw this eave and footing detail. Let me get going with it. So first, I'm going to draw walls. So those are going to be on a thick layer. So I've chosen my thick layer. I don't know how tall they'll be. I'll draw them like 4 feet, 4 foot. And that wasn't even straight. Let me get my ortho on. It'll be a little easier for the start. Okay, so there we go. 4 feet. Offset 5.5 inches. And then I'll draw over maybe another 4 or 5 feet. Let me go 6 feet this way. And we have another offset of 5.5 inches. And so I've just drawn the wall and the ceiling joist. Now the blocking is 1.5 thick. That's the thickness of a 2x6. And I can do some trimming. And then on the thin layer, I'll draw those X's. That means that this is a cut, but the piece of wood goes unbroken through the entire. It's hard for me to draw while I'm talking, you guys. Sorry about that. There we go. It's much easier for me to draw when I'm not talking. And then all of that goes on the thin layer. And then I know that this inside offsets 1/2 inch. And I need to do a little trim. Most people wouldn't see that, but we want to take care. Best job we can. Okay, so that's a big part of what we've. Oh, and I've got to get rid of that little part. Okay, our next step is to draw those rafters, and so I'm going to offset 2 feet, just so I know about where that thing's supposed to end up. And then the fascia board is 1.5 inches thick, so I'm going to offset 1.5 inches. Now here's the cool thing. Probably make my cursor pick a little bit bigger, but that's okay. I know this slope, and I'm going to put myself back on my thick layer. You can do all this layering later on. I know it goes over 12 inches and down 6 inches, and that then, bit of my ortho, I don't need it. And I'm going to get rid of my dynamic because I don't need that. It'll go a little smoother. So that's the bottom of my rafter. And there's a very cool command called extend. I'm going to extend that line. Oh, isn't that cool? And then that's going to offset 5.5. Now, I recall from the drawing that the 2x8 goes there, and an 8-inch lumber offsets 7.25 inches. And when you take materials of construction, you'll learn all about why that is. And now I can do some trimming. I've got a lot done, so I think I better save this. Doing pretty well. And this little bit is going to trim also. So I've got a lot of this done. Now to get this to lengthen out, there's a command called lengthen, L-E-N. And I'm going to do the DE command, a certain amount, and I'm going to go 4 foot at a time. I'm going to lengthen this one 4 foot in, and I'll do it to this one too. I've got a lot of this drawn already. This is so cool. And then I think I have a trim right over here. Right here. There we go. So I'm getting there. It's getting close. And now I've also got a line from this corner perpendicular. If I go shift right click, I can choose perpendicular. And that's a piece of blocking. And it offsets 1.5 because it's a 2 by 6. 2 by 6 is 1 1/2 thick. Now on the thin layer, I just have my little lines that show that this is blocking. Now this one only gets one line because it's broken up in between the rafters. Moving a little better. And this one gets both lines because it goes the entire length without being broken. And if you've walked under the eaves, you know what that looks like. So I'm most of the way there with my drawing. I've got an offset to do here of 0.5. That's my T11 siding. Tiny little line here. And really in many details you wouldn't bother with this, but it's giving us practice how that works. Okay, now I'm going to do one more thing for you. I'm going to show you, if you're in VMware, you can get right to this. I'll post the link, but I'm going to insert a block now. I'm going to go look at that from a blocks library, or I can look at blocks from library. Well, I can go around and look for it. You can look for it on your computer, but here's one called insulation that I've loaded. So I've loaded this one, and I'm going to put it in, hold, drag, let go, and now I can move it into place. Now I can make a copy and rotate it, but I can do that automatically by typing it to go in at a 90-degree angle. And now it's at an angle. Isn't that cool? Move that so that that endpoint is right there. And I can put another one on, but that gives me a... Okay, so I'm almost done. I just have to draw my little kind of cut lines. Those also go on the thin layer. And you just draw a line. Ortho back. Actually, instead of ortho, I'll put my... I'll turn that off too. I'm just going to go up, down, up, I'm going to come down even with there. There's my cut line. And then I'll do the same thing over here. And it doesn't have to be way far away, just somewhere over here. Probably like off of that 4 foot. Also, I do have to have some room later on for some writing. And so that's where you're going to go with it. And then I'll put better do a save. It's everything. Everything's all full scale. That is as big as it is. So now I'll do a copy. And that's my Eve detail. There we go. That's how you draw the Eve detail.